Hello there, morning gang. It's Thursday the 25th of April 2019. A warm welcome along to Lincolnshire and the Chapel Hill Marina at United Kingdom talk this morning on a wet and windy day outside. I can hear the rain on the roof. I don't know if you can you just about hear that? No, maybe not actually. It's not too heavy at the moment, but wind and rain outside. Apparently we've got a storm coming tomorrow. Yeah, I was watching old Carol Kirkwood. That was it, Carol Kirkwood, my favourite newsreader on the BBC. She was telling us happily that we had a storm coming over. The Irish have reported a storm is brewing. And I think we're going to get it most in the south coast, which, of course, I'll be travelling down there tomorrow. So wind and rain on the way. I don't know if you noticed it, but after a little sleep yesterday afternoon, I went out to my car to go to my sister's. We were going to Skegness last night. And I noticed there was like a film over it, like someone had chucked a load of dirt over it. And it was the Sahara sand. It's in the Daily Mirror this morning. It says the rare weather, and it was all over my car. The rare weather phenomenon, that's a good word, isn't it? Phenomenon. I bet you can't use it. Try and use that in a sentence today. Go on. Use that in a sentence today. The rare weather phenomenon. I have difficulty saying long words. This is why I could never be a newsreader. I mean, all those foreign names, dear. And let's be honest, there's more and more of them in this country. Foreign names, dear. The rare weather phenomenon is caused by sand and dust from the Sahara Desert, which has been blown over from the UK. All those naughty old Saharans. Do many people live there in the Sahara Desert? I mean, what do they do for water there? Do they have to cut open cactuses and things like that? All those spikes, dear. Worse than plastic straws in the ocean. Blood and rain. Sorry, blood and rain. Blood rain. Blood rain. It's okay, it's not actual blood. I want to tell the thickos watching this program this morning, it's not actual blood falling from the sky. Okay? It's a phrase, blood rain, which means rain which looks a bit red, okay? Blood rain has fallen on the UK, covering cars in a layer of red dust. I don't know if it was red, actually. I'm not sure it was red dust on my car. It was certainly sand. It was definitely sand. Experts say the Easter heat wave to blame for the rare weather phenomenon. The country has been showered with sand coming from the Sahara Desert, reports the Daily Record. The deposits, you do like a deposit or two, don't you? The deposits are deposits are particularly visible on cars and windows in southern parts of the UK. They were the worst hit, forecasters said. Well, we've had it up here in the northeast. And the dust not only causes the red blood-like rain, but also spectacular sunrises, which we had yesterday actually, which were reported earlier this week. Strong winds over the Sahara have whipped up the dust, and that's why, and it's deposited it all over here, all over the UK. So how was your car this morning or last night? Was it covered in dust? Eh? I've got a bad back again this morning. I'll tell you about that later. There's a reason for that. I know what the reason is. Good morning to Tommy Flynn. You look like you get the first message in of the day. Morning, Tommy. Alan Russell's in the house. Diane Jebb, good morning. Hello, Merlin. All right, Mike Rees Ponto. By the way, we had a little bit of a false start earlier. I noticed the sound was going... So I had to stop and restart. Some of you may have noticed that. Okay, so that was the reason for that. That's one of the reasons why we have that 5-minute opening, is that if there's any sort of early faults, I can stop and restart without having spoken for 10 minutes and all sorts of things going wrong then. It's the whole idea of having that 5-minute... The 5-minute intro is to see if there's any faults, because nothing's... You know, I mean, it's not... I shouldn't tell you this. This isn't a proper television studio. Oh, no, it's not. It's a small room in my caravan. You wouldn't think it, would you? All the effort that I go to. Anyway, so it's not an exact science. You know, sometimes things go wrong and you don't really know why. And it's a case of closing the computer program and reopening it again, and then it starts working. So sometimes that's one reason for the 5-minute thing, and the other is so you've got time to join us before we start. Morning to Diane Jebb. Morning, Mike Poman is there in Australia. Good morning. Timmy Thomas has been for a 5-mile run. Have you really? What, this morning? Oh, it's a long way. I think I used to run about 5 miles. I'm going back a few years ago now, maybe about 6 or 7 years now, but I used to do running, and I would run for about an hour. And I used to do it every day, and then my knees started playing up, so I had to stop. I think my knees started playing up because I wasn't resting them. I was doing it every day. I don't think you're supposed to do that every day. So if you did, that's fantastic. Timmy is a similar age to me. Good morning, Chris. I've been for my 5-mile run, had my vegan breakfast, and I'm off to my charity work later. Not listening to you while Kylie's in the background. Well, please turn Kylie off. Kylie in the background. Better the devil, you know. Oh, better the devil, you know. Oh, it's my favourite Kylie song. That one and Never Too Late. Never Too Late. Duh, duh, duh. I've got the 12-inch version of that. Thank you very much. Yes. Morning, Mr. SRS Gregorian. David Mallum's there, preaching God. Good morning, David. Hello to Juan, who loves planes of all sorts. Me too. I've still not been on an A380. British Airways, other airlines have got them as well. I want to go on an A380. They're the really big ones, aren't they? They've stopped making them. Airlines weren't buying them. So they simply stopped making them. Shame that, isn't it? Love to go on an A380. There is no prize, Tommy. I'm sorry. No prize at all. Let's have a look. You're talking to each other. A very good morning to Ray Reynolds, who's from Hollywood, almost live. They've had no rain at all, Timmy says, where he is. All in Camden, bright and sunny. Well, it's raining here at the moment outside. Good morning to Matty James Perrin. Your video's struggling or something. What's struggling? It was at the beginning. That's why we stopped and restarted as well. Okay. Tim says, I am a phenomenon. Do you think so? The Sirocco rain from the Sahara. That's exactly what it is. Bad for asthma. People, the dust. Is it? Is it bad for... Well, all sorts of stuff is bad for asthma, isn't it? I mean, house dust is bad for asthma. I noticed actually some house dust in my bathroom yesterday. In the bathroom, the floor is like that and it goes up like that. Okay? So the Hoover doesn't... This is here in the caravan. The Hoover doesn't get that little bit there, and I noticed it was accumulating dust. So yesterday, when we went to Aldi last night, I bought some floor wipes, which are like impregnated, papery type things. And I've got a nice clean bathroom floor now. It was ever so clean. I should have taken a picture of it and showed you, really. Morning to David Moses. Morning, Dave. For no me nom do do dee do do. For no me non do do dee do. Try and say that on one of your radio shows later, Dave. Mike, we're building sandcastles with the Sahara sand here in Portsmouth. You got enough of your blooming sand in Portsmouth, haven't you? Have you got sandy beaches there, or are they pebbles? I actually prefer a pebble beach. I can't stand sand in my... Oh, I can't bear it. Can't bear it. And it made me laugh. You know, some of these seaside places, the posher ones... Excuse me, I've got a terrible back this morning. The posher beaches have got a tap, which is a complete and utter waste of time. You know, so you go on the beach and you get sand on your feet. I can't stand it. Nasty, gritty, sometimes a bit gets up your nails. And then you walk off the beach onto like the promenade, and there might be a tap there, you know, to put your feet under. So you put your feet under that, put it back in your sandals or somewhere, and once again you've got the sand back on there. Complete and utter waste of time, water and money putting taps at the tops of beaches. Oh no, I can't stand a sandy beach. I really, really don't like it. Pebbles, yes. Yeah, you walk on the pebbles carefully enough, don't you? Not so pleasant to lay down on. Take an airbed. That's what we call an airbed, which is guaranteed to be punctured within the first 2 times of usage, I'm sure. Good day from Adam, who's in Melbourne, Australia. They've got a lovely tram there. An old-fashioned tram that goes... And it's free. Well, it was free when I last went. Goes round and round Melbourne. I stayed on there for hours. Hours, dear. Talking to the bloke driving. I think he was quite relieved when I got up, to be honest. Morning. Mini Mark Diamond, good morning to you, our little Mini Mark Diamond, who's getting very excited because there's a Turkish food place opening near you, isn't there? A new Turkish restaurant. She should go working in Turkey, and she likes Turkish food there. Morning to Roy Brownlow. Good morning to you. Hayley Lee Lane. Morning, Hayley. Russ, Philip Vernon. Good morning. It's wet here in Yorkshire as well. Lovely part of the world, Yorkshire. Pebble Beach is down here in Portsmouth. I didn't know that. Yeah, I do prefer a Pebble Beach. And Lyndon. Good morning, Lyndon Rowlands. Morning. Nice to see you appear on there, sir. Where's the YouTube people today? No YouTube messages at all. So if you've sent one in, it might not be working. Good morning to Maureen in London, who texts in and is watching the show as well. Good morning to you, Maureen. Sometimes, just a reminder, boys and girls, the messages, for whatever reason, don't come up on my message thing, particularly if it's Facebook. Actually, the YouTube ones usually come in. The Facebook ones don't always come in. So if you find we're carrying on and you've sent several messages and none of them have been read out, sometimes I might skip past them if you're becoming boring, for example, like some of you often do. I mean, there's one for my sister there. She's often boring. I now rate my sister's phone calls. When I finish talking to her on the phone, I send her a text message with a number on it, between 1 and 10, depending on the interestingness of her call, and it rarely goes above 2.5, to be honest. You know, so if you're sending endless messages to me, I can't possibly get through them all, so I'll skip across. But if you sent loads and none of them at all have been read out, that means they're not getting to me for whatever reason. Sometimes that happens. So just use the text number there. If you're in the UK, you're probably on free text anyway, which is up there in the corner. 07551 259 675. It's also there, of course. I know some of you do watch and you can't type for whatever reason, so you too as well, feel free to use that. Claire's sent us a little message in. Good morning to Claire. YouTube is not working at all this morning, is it not? Oh, I don't know why that is. That's a weird thing. As in the text messages, or you not being able to watch? I don't know why. It happens sometimes. There's so many hundreds of places that the internet can go wrong. As you well know, it's just impossible, even when you ring up. If you've got a fault on the internet, especially if you're with it's not like a provider that uses another part of the network. So, for example, if you're with TalkTalk, and the last part of the line is BT, then where's the fault? And you often find them blaming each other without them really knowing which side of the thing is there. So that's why that is. Now, let me just have a little quick look at YouTube for you. Claire says that's not working at all this morning. Well, I can see the streams running. Let's have a look. Oh, an error occurred. Yes, it's not working, is it? An error at work. So that's not working at all this morning. So, oh, hang on. Russ has got us. No, Russ is sending a message in on the YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ross is watching on YouTube. Maybe it's just come on now. Anyway, not to worry. It's just one of those things that happens now and again. Okay, so yesterday, as soon as I finished the show, I thought I better put my plants in. I've been down to garden centre with my sister, Johnson's Garden Centre, which we went to on Tuesday, I think it was. Yeah, Tuesday. A little bit expensive there, but nevertheless, I bought some bits and pieces, a couple of hydrangeas, 4 lots of lilies. You get a little square pot like that, and you get like four or five lily plants growing out of that. 9 bags of earth. What else did I buy? Another coloured plant, I can't remember. And I thought, well, I need to put those in quick, you know, because you don't want them leaving around in the little pots. So I unloaded all the earth into the big planters I've got in the big pots that my sister's kindly given us, and planted up the things and give them a good water. The only thing is, I didn't have a hose. I've actually got a water tap on the side of the caravan, so I haven't got to run anything in the caravan at all. I've got a water thing on the side of the caravan, and all I had was a bucket, so I'm picking up this bucket of water and taking it over. And when I bent down like that to do that, I thought, oh, that's again. And I think I've probably overdone it again with the back, unfortunately. So that started hurting again, and it had been recovering, but it's kind of taken a step back because I did all that yesterday, I think. But they're all in now, and you know, 100 quid's worth of plants and earth which in the car, if it was quite a lot in the car, because car is a small space, you spread it out and you're thinking, well, where is it all? You've got to look to see where the plants are. So I will. It'll be an ongoing thing that over the next couple of months, I suppose, going down the garden centre and getting a few bits and pieces. Although I can't be spending £100 every time I go down there. B&Q appears to be the cheapest place for plants. As I say, Johnson's plants, very nice. Was okay in there. No complaints at all about the quality or anything like that. But they did seem a little bit pricey in there. B&Q as well. I think I said on the show yesterday, the quality of their plants is very good. But if you went to Johnson's, which is in Boston, I'd give that 10 out of 10. B&Q, 9.5 out of 10. So not much difference there, except for the price. Best example I can give is we notice, the orchids that you get in supermarkets. Okay, Johnson's £12, B&Q £8, exactly the same thing. Funnily enough, I was looking at my window ledge in the living room here in the caravan yesterday, and I thought that could do with some more flowery type plants along there. And the best things would be orchids, because they just flower for ages. They absolutely flower for ages. So I might put some. Actually, I've got too many orchids at home at the moment. I could bring some of those down. I've got no room on my windowsills down at the house in Bracknell at the moment, so I might bring some of the orchids down here and do that. All right, morning to Paul and Lou. The YouTube's working there now, Claire. Maybe not. Okay, Paul and Lou working here now, so it came on late, did it? Okay, fair enough. And morning to Mickle Mike. Morning. Hello. Am I getting through? Yes, you are getting through. Worry not, old boy. Worry not, oh boy. Okay, Dave, how does the water supply work in the caravan? Do you have to take a trip down to the well occasionally? Yeah, I've got, like the ladies in Africa have. They got the big thing on their head. That's what we have to do down here. I am carrying the water from the well, and I've had to learn with the big bucket on my head, carrying it like that, and I do the shake, with my arse. I go do the shake from side to side as I'm walking along, and I sing with all the other caravan people. We all make a long line. We make a long line to the water, to the well down there, and then we take it in turns to wind the thing down. The bucket slowly drops into the thing, and then it comes out, and we empty the bucket in, and that's how we get our water in the caravan. The electricity is even more interesting. Each caravan has a little box on the side where they have hamsters running around in a little wheel. Unfortunately, we do tend to work the hamsters a little bit hard, and they die. And you can be watching it's nothing worse than watching the latest episode of Holby City. Okay, Jack Naylor is performing an operation on someone, and the telly goes off. And it's always the same thing. You go outside to the little cupboard, open it up, and 3 of the hamsters are dead because you've worked them too hard. But that's why you should always keep backup hamsters. The richer people on the site have got like 2 of these wheels going around. And if one goes down, the other one carries on. And then they quickly, they pull the dead hamsters out of the little box on the wheel. And they quickly shove another couple in, close the door, put a little carrot that hangs down in front of the wheel. And then the hamsters start again. That's how we get our electricity here in the caravan. Didn't you know that, Dave? How far is Hebden from here? I'm in Woodall Spa in Lincolnshire. Is that very far? Is it very far? Hebden. I don't know how far that is from here. Are you near sort of Huntingdon? Are you near Huntingdonshire? Huntingdon, is that where you are? I'm not quite sure where it is. Morning to my sister. We will try Alnwick and Bells. Yeah, there's 2 garden centres. That's my sister there, Sharon Butler. We'll try Alnwick and Bells next week or the week after. I'm not here next week for the garden centres. They've got 2 more down there. Bells seems cheaper as well, because Mrs. has sent us some pictures of that one as well. Morning to Jason Lewis. Good morning, Jason Lewis. Star of television. I saw your programme, lovey. Jason was on television recently, weren't you, my dear? Morning, Jason. Love the shirt, Chris. Are you like a typical newsreader? Smart up top and pyjamas and slippers down south. What do you think? What do you think, Jace? What do you think? And I might reveal all. coming up a little bit later. I might reveal all right? Mini Diamond, you should go to the big B&M there. They are good for plants too. In Skeg, oh yes, there's one in Boston actually. I didn't know they did plants in B&M. Do they really? Okay, fair enough, because there's one in Boston. I'm going to Boston after the show today. I didn't have time to go. I ran out of time yesterday to go swimming. I wanted my hair cut. Look, it's all spick and span again. And I had a nice shave. I have my hair cut at a place. Oh, I don't know what the hairdressers is called, but the bloke's called H. He's got like a little. It's like a very, very small shop actually that he's got, and he's in there on his own. This is in Coningsby. Okay, so you drive past and you park either in front of his shop or there's a kebab shop next to it. And he's ever such a nice bloke, and you have a good old chat in there with him. And he does that, and then I get like the shave as well, because I notice hairdressers seem to shave much better than I can, if you see what I've got one of those things, but I'm not particularly good at it. I also like the straight lines, you know, with the cutthroat laser. Yeah, he does all that, so that's all right. So that all cost me 18 quid yesterday, which is fair enough. Roy, you have you been eating red beetroot? No, I don't look red this morning, do I? I'm not looking red over there anyway. Let me have a look on there. I don't look red this morning. There's something wrong with your computers, most of you. People keep saying that I'm red. Morning to JP. Can you advise the symptoms of becoming gay, as I think I'm turning? Well, do you talk a lot, John? Do you talk rubbish a lot? That is a symptom. Here's some symptoms of being gay, okay? Do you find, right, when you're walking around, you're like that with your hand? Are you doing that? When you go into the pub, do you buy, I'll have a pint of lager, mate, or, oh, can I have a white wine, please? Do you have a white wine? Huh? You know when you're watching television programs or films, okay, let me give you a scene. The Sound of Music, right, where Julie Andrews walks down the aisle to get married. Did you cry? If you cried then, 95% chance of you being gay. That is the truth. That is the truth. Okay? Do you find when you go into supermarkets or chip shops or places like that, okay, so you've got a selection of people to choose from, you go to the till where they have a good-looking bloke? Have you found any of these things? And come back to me, John, and tell me, okay? And that may well be a thing there, all right? Claire, there we are. Claire's back now. Claire thinks I was censored earlier on and removed. What did I say at the beginning of the show? Something that should be censored, should I? Oh no, John, he says he has wine, and when I see a man I get hot and sweaty. No, that might not be anything to do with being gay. You might just have your heating turned up too far, dear. Are you sensitive, John? Are you sensitive? And the other thing, if you're gay, you will hate all the other gays around you. We absolutely hate each other. You've only got to go into a gay bar and see it all. They all hate each other. God knows how anyone gets off with anyone. But the one good thing about being gay is that we don't have any of this, oh, he touched me without asking, therefore I'm going to take him to court and have a photo appear in the Daily Mirror. Oh, you touched me. No, we just touch. You only got to ask my nephew that. He came in a gay bar to see me working a while ago now, and he said to his mum, "I'm not going there anymore. They touch you." I haven't been touched for ages, incidentally. But I always point out, if you want to touch me at any point as I'm walking around, you feel free to do that, okay? I'm not having any restrictions on touching, not at places I worked here. We're not having, oh, I want £10,000. You've hurt me. You've hurt my feelings by touching me without my permission. Oh, go away. Go away. We're not interested. Tommy Flynn says, I don't hate you. Well, maybe you don't, dear, but you didn't touch me either, did you, Tommy? Very disappointing. I've always wanted to be touched by you. Dave is sort of halfway between Leeds and Manchester, okay? Right, you're on you're on the dark side. The dark side. The dark side. That's where Dave is. Did I tell you James Dean finished at Tameside? I don't know if you kept in contact with him over the years since, of course, the fantastic time we all had at CMP Radio. But yeah, James Dean finished at Tameside Radio. Yeah, so you might, I don't know if you've talked to him about that. Good. So I did my gardening yesterday, and as I say, when I was watering the plants, I thought, oh, my back started hurting again. I actually felt it happen. It's not like a click; it just starts hurting. I thought, oh, and I don't think it was so much the weight of the bucket of water or earth. It's the fact when you're kind of leaning over a bit, you know, and you'll find actually if you talk to people who work on cars and things like that, they spend a lot of time sort of bent over looking in the that thing that makes it the engine. When they're bent over looking at the engine, that's when their back hurts. Not when they're standing up straight or laying down underneath it. That always worries me. That does. You know, you see, I'm sure it's particularly safe, but when you see blokes under cars, in garages or outside the front of their houses, and they've got the car jacked up and they're underneath it, and you think, oh my God, what if that jack suddenly gives way? I suppose there's safety things in garages or something, but when someone's outside, you know, and they're working on their own car, they're underneath that car, possibly on those little things. What are they called? Little like mini ramps, aren't they? You put one under each wheel when you drive up it, and then you put the brake on it. It doesn't move. What if the brake gives way, and it slides up and smash down on it? You'd have a squashed head, wouldn't you? Huh? There's a few people on the telly with squashed heads, I have to say. Oh, talking about people who look squashed. Gemma Collins. Have you seen this? Gemma Collins. She has shown off her... Congratulations to Gemma Collins. The reality star, 38, has credited her new vegan diet for help slimming down. Now, I've heard this from other vegans. I'm not vegan myself. Vegans is nothing to do with animals, including honey, milk, anything like that. But I gather to lose weight, it's a damn good way to do it. And you can just eat endless amounts of carrots and peas and vegan type things and not put on weight. In her latest picture, Gemma Collins, this is in this morning's Sun, can be seen straddling... Is it straddling or stranding? The GC can be seen stranding her front garden. Stranding? That don't sound right, does it? Stranding? Well, that's what it says in the Sun. The GC can be seen stranding her front garden as she poses in a white tracksuit. She wrote, thanks for the weight loss comments. My hard work is definitely paying off. Vegan lifestyle. And her fans seem to like what they see after seeing a string of positive comments. And Gemma has been showing off a slimmer figure recently after losing more than 2.5 stone, which is credible. Which has to be said is very credible. It comes also as a result for her rigorous dancing on ice training sessions, which saw her burn up to 1,500 calories per rehearsal. So that's another way to do it. Do some ice skating. I've done it a couple of times. It's not for me. You know, I seem to fall flat on my face. No, actually, I seem to fall backwards on ice skating. Oh, it's awful. Falling on ice is just awful. And of course, you know, if you don't really want to do it anyway, don't do it. Don't be pulled. Oh, let's go ice skating. Oh, no, thank you. Don't want to do it. Oh, go on, Chris. You know you want to go. No, thank you. I don't want to go ice skating. Oh, please, Chris. No, I don't want to go. Go away. Don't be forced into doing these things. It says, since shedding the weight, the reality star seems determined to lose even more weight and has been sharing details with her fitness regime with fans. She said she's got a treadmill. I don't know if she goes on the treadmill, to be honest. She doesn't come... I'll be honest, she doesn't come across someone who would go to a gym or do lots of exercise. But I can believe the vegan diet thing. Although, of course, it's not a diet. Veganism isn't a diet. And if you want to be a vegan, it doesn't mean that you have to go around the country upsetting people and beating people up and shouting and screaming at people and painting logos. Just stop doing anything to do with animals. Have the vegan food. It's nothing special. Basically, cut out everything processed and anything to do with animals. That's it. And you'll probably find that the weight does fall off then. Okay. Michael Lawrence. Good morning, Michael. You're a bit late this morning, aren't you? Welcome along to the show. JP, she can eat with all the other fat cows in Essex now, bless her. Well, she's not fat anymore, John. She's lost 2.5 stone. That must be commended, dear. Must be commended. Credit where credit is due. Timmy Thomas, thank you. We now have rain. Well, we sent that down from here, dear. You send up the sun, we'll send you the rain. Yes. I made it through the rain and kept myself protected. I made it through the rain and made my point of view. You know that one. Very nice. Making it through the rain. After I finished with the garden, I kind of hobbled to my car to get my hair cut. As I say, I went down to H's in Coningsby. Lovely place. Such a nice bloke he is. And I was then going to go swimming, but I basically run out of time. And I haven't been swimming now since last Friday, I think it was. Friday was the last time I've been swimming, so I'm determined to go this morning after I finish the show up at Boston, and I might pop into B&Q afterwards and see what they got there, unless it's raining, because of course the garden sections are all outside, unless you've got to get an umbrella to walk around. It's no fun going to a garden centre when it's raining. It really isn't. I must admit, I'm not keen on garden centres that sell everything else. There's one in Bracknell in Berkshire called Long Acres. And it just sells everything. It's got a food hall, clothes, a restaurant, so much in there. Long Acres. I mean, if you want a day out, that's the place to go. But to go through the tills can be an absolute nightmare there. Really. They've got a lot of tills in there. And to be fair to them, they're generally all open. And there's some lovely fellas working on those tills. Oh, yes. Me and my mate make a beeline for the best looking one, usually. Are we terrible? I've got 2 fellas I've got my eye on at the moment. One works in the chip shop, the Trawler's Catch in Skegness, and the other one works in Aldi, Skegness. And I always make a point of going to talk to them. But I do it in straight accent. Oh, I'm very good at that. I go, hello mate, how are you? You had a good week or what? Yeah, not been too bad. I'm just down with my sister and that. Can I have the usual, please? Baked beans and chips on there. As that's how I talk to them. They got no idea I fancy them. Oh dear. So no swimming yesterday. I came back here. On my way here, I went to this little bakery. I never go buy bakery things. And the reason I went there was because I was going to carry on from the hairdresser to go and see my nephew at his work. So I rang him. I'm walking down to the baker's now. I said, all right, Jim, I'm just going down to, what's it called? Cooplands Bakery in Coningsby. Oh, lovely stuff. And if you order, if they make you, well, they do, there's no rolls that are made up, or at least I've not seen them in a glass cabinet. You want a roll? They make it there and then for you. So I said, can I have like a cheese roll? Not too much cheese in there, please. So she gets that, and they're big. They're big. Not like these little thin sandwiches that you get in like BP garages for like £6 or whatever they are, £5 for one bleeding sandwich. These are big like this, they are. So I asked for a cheese, and then unfortunately I saw right in front of me a pizza slice. And then next to that was a cheese and onion pasty. So I bought those 3 items, and I rang up my nephew. I said, I'm just going to Cooplands. I said, do you want anything? He said, oh no, I'm just locking up now. He said, I've got back to mum's and watch a YouTube video. He probably had something he needed to do to a car. Because that nephew, he's got his own like car repair business, dents and scratches. He's got his own unit, you see. That's in Horncastle, which is just up from Coningsby. And he probably had some sort of problem. So, like his dad, he watches a YouTube video, because there's always someone who's had the problem before, watches a YouTube video, and then he'll just go and do it. Brilliant. I can't do that. My brain doesn't operate like that, unfortunately, if there was much in there. But he's fantastic at doing that. So I said, oh, well, I'm just in Cooplands at the moment. He said, well, I'll meet you in there. I said, well, what do you want? I'll get you something. He said, well, I'm going to Mum's. Do you want to come to Mum's? Now, to go to my sister's, I've got to go that way. Back to the caravan is that way. So that's like right out of the way, really. So I said, well, I'm going back to the caravan. Oh, okay, well, we'll leave it then. Okay, so fair enough. But I'm already halfway to the baker's now. I thought, well, shall I go back to the car and just cook myself something? I thought, no, I'm on my way there now. Let's have a little treat and go to a baker's for a change. So that's what I bought, a little cheese salad roll and a pizza thing and a cheese and onion pasty and a cup of tea. So I got that in the car. And I've got the cheese roll out, and I thought I'd just have a little bit of that. Oh no, little bits of cheese falling all onto the carpet. They're a nightmare to get up, dear. So I hadn't set off on my journey. So I put the roll back in the bag. I thought, don't eat that in the car because the cheese, the little, it had been grated. They weren't slices. The little grated cheese, absolutely delicious. Right, no good for vegans, of course. You can get vegan cheese. I must warn you, some of it is absolutely vile. Be very careful if you're buying vegan cheese. You'll have to try several different brands until you like one. One that I like, actually, which you can get in Sainsbury's, is called Violite. That's not too bad. Violite. Dave says, do you not live in Bracknell anymore? Yes, I've got my house is in Bracknell, Dave, in Berkshire. But I've got a caravan in a place called Chapel Hill in Lincolnshire, which is not too far from Boston. I'm kind of in two places at once. At some point, I'll probably move lock, stock and barrel up here, but I don't know when that will be. Don't know when that'll be. Okay. Morning to Tim Ryan. Good morning to Tim. That's my cousin Tim Ryan in Australia, watching this morning with Joe and Anna. Greetings. Greetings to you. Okay? All right, nice to see you there. Now, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so little bits of cheese were falling out onto the chair and onto the floor. And, of course, the car's going back soon, getting a new car. It might come next week because I've had a phone call. So I'm down on the floor now, picking up these little bits of cheese and putting them back in the bag because we don't waste anything. Oh, it don't worry me if something falls on the floor. God's sake, man, what are you worried about? You drop a chip on the floor and eat it. Blow it off and eat it. That's it. Apple on the floor, you can put that under the water if you want to. Don't worry about stuff falling. Unless it literally falls in a lump of dog dirt, just carry on eating it. It's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about that. So I'm picking up these bits of cheese before I tread them into the carpet. Drove back home here. Had a cup of tea and my items. I put the pasty back in the oven. Oh, by the way, I've realised now, I mentioned about a year ago how I noticed that the oven in the caravan, which is worked by propane gas, got two big cylinders next to the caravan, comes down a little pipe and into this oven. Okay, I've said to you before how I noticed stuff takes ages to do in the caravan oven. I realised why now. I looked on the dial, it only goes up to 160 centigrade. Okay, doing chips and that, you want to be like 200, 220. It doesn't go up that high. That's why. I've worked that out, and it took me a year to notice that dial. And it goes up to 160 centigrade. So not very good. I'll have to get one of those halogen ovens or something like that, won't I suppose. Dave says that as well. That's my motto. Blow and eat. Not sure what you mean by that, Dave, but there we are. So I put my pasty in there, warmed that up, had my tea in there, and then I had a little sleep, and when I woke up my back was quite bad. But I put some of Maureen's special cream on there that she kindly brought into the pub on Monday night. Maureen bought me in a tube of ibuprofen cream, and I woke up about 5 o'clock, and then I laid down there. It's at the bottom of my back, so what I have to do is it's a bit difficult actually getting the. It's not like a cream, it's more like a gel. That's it, like a gel. So I rubbed that in, and I literally laid on my front for about 15 minutes. To let it dry, because the trouble is, of course, if you put that stuff on and you put your t-shirt straight on, it sticks to your back. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? That's horrible. It's like going in now. I've got a shower. My shower here in the caravan is one with a curtain around it. And is it awful when you're having a shower and the curtain sticks to you. Oh, I think it's gross, that is. Absolutely gross. Oh dear, let me do some of your messages. Good morning to Dukey Chris. Good morning, Chris. He's got a new job. He's starting soon. Paddy Power, he works in bookies. Good morning, Chris. Morning to Juan. Morning, Juan and Thomas there on Vaughan Live. Good morning, Thomas. Let's just go up a little bit. How's Ronnie? He's not doing too bad. Thank you for asking, Roy there. Paul and Lou are worried. I just did the gay check and got a half a point out of 5. I walked around the house with a floppy hand. Oh, that's a dead giveaway, floppy hand. I'll give you another 3 months, mate, before you become fully gay. Floppy hand is terrible. That's the worst thing ever that can happen. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a look. Oh, a little bit of a cough there happening. All right. Chris, are you missing me, little Dukey Chris? Are you missing me? Oh, love. Isn't that nice? That's a nice thing for you to say. Nice thing for you to say. So, went to my sister's house, picked them up. Off we went to Skegness Park there, did our usual thing. I had baked beans over chips in the trawler's catch. My favourite boy wasn't working there today. I was very disappointed. I said to my sister, where's the boy I usually go and see? Oh, he's probably had enough of you going up and talking to him, she said. He weren't there. Very disappointing. And it's certainly busy now in Skegness because I've continued to, except for February and March where the caravan site is closed, I continued to come up here right the way through autumn and winter. And gradually, it was funny, gradually you could see Skegness getting quieter and quieter. And there was a couple of occasions where we went to the Trawler's Catch, that is the chip shop. You go up these stairs. And there was a couple of occasions we were the only people in there. It was ever so dead. Really. Now it's much busier. In fact, the whole of Skegness is much busier now. We get there usually around 7 o'clock at night. And certainly walking from the car, we see a lot of people walking around there. There was a couple of the ice cream places now open late at night, which they weren't, of course, during the winter months. And even the arcades. Some of the arcades used to close early in winter. They're open now, and there's a few people now milling around. And presumably, this is my first whole year that I've been coming up here, you see. Presumably, that will now just get busier and busier until August, September, and then it just dies down again. But they get through the winter. The thing is about the Trawler's Catch is that they're not expensive, and they give you a decent size meal, whatever you're ordering. I mean, the fish that my sister had, it's like this. She's funny, she is, my sister. She says yesterday, because we had chips Tuesday as well. So we've had the chips. She said, well, that's my chips this week. She says, that's it. I've had my treat this week. Tomorrow, I'll just have the fish. I said, what, covered in batter? Him and her husband, my brother-in-law, they go on these, like, things where they say they're not going to eat bread or carbs or something like that. We're on a carb-free diet now, but we will have that one sandwich today. They're a bit like that, you see. It's a bit like me on the Slimming World at the moment. Oh, I'm not, but I'll just have that little ice cream today. No, you can't have any for a while, dear. And she was like that with the chips, you see. So we had the chips on Tuesday. Right, I've had my chips today. So we were in the car last night. What are you going to have? Oh, I think I'll have the fish and the chips. I said, you said you weren't going to have chips. Oh, yeah, but I walked to the shop today and back again, so I can have them. I'm allowing myself that. They don't stick to it. They don't blooming stick to it. Carb-free diet. Oh, I just have that one sandwich just for today. I just have that one sausage roll. If you want to get to these things, you need to stick to them, I tell you. Very difficult. Dukey, you can come up here if you want. You can come up here. Dukey wants to come to the caravan. He worked on a caravan site, didn't you? Would you want a haven? I can't remember now. You did something to do with caravans, didn't you? Roy says, not the cough carries you off in the coffin, they carry you off in. Thomas, have you got a floppy hand? You might. I don't know if you were with us at the beginning of the show. I think it was JP that was asking, what are the dead giveaways? What are clues to that you might become you might be becoming gay. So we were talking about that earlier in the show today. If you, I don't think you get the recordings on Vaughan Live, do you? Once the show's finished. If you ever watch the show again as a recording, as soon as I finish, it goes back up as a recording. I think on YouTube, you've got to wait about 20 minutes or so. Just go to my YouTube, youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK, and you'll find them all there, all right? youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. Park Holidays, that's it, Park Holidays. I think the place down the road is Park Holidays, Tattershall Lakes, which is it's too big. That's just massive. It's a really, really big caravan site with the clubhouse and the bar and the restaurant and the swimming pool. The site I'm on has nothing like that. It's just caravans, a few caravans. Not many. We can walk around the whole site in about 15 minutes, to be honest. It's not big at all there. All right. So we had our meal then, and then we walked to the ice cream shop because that's open now. We didn't have to go into McDonald's, or did pop in McDonald's to use the toilet. That's about all. And then I come out and bought an ice cream from one of the, ice cream vendors where I got all the sweets. I was tempted by the now what's it called? It looks a bit like honeycomb, but it's toffee, and it's very, very crunchy. The trouble is, last time I bought that, I bit into it. And it kind of slipped to the roof of my mouth, and I got a big blood blister up there, which they don't last very long though. Blood, not even 24 hours. They soon disappear. But I damaged my mouth on that, so it's really crunchy stuff. I don't think it's honeycomb, toffee something or other. It was called. I can't remember. Stop that, Chris. You're being very naughty now. Very naughty. You will have to be slapped. Now that I've offered that, no doubt you'll be straight round here, but there we are. So we had the ice cream, then we walked along the beach, and it was still light, which is really nice because when we've been up there, it's during the winter, it's pitch black and you can't see anything, but it is still nice to walk all along the seafront at Skegness. And well, I say walked, I was hobbling because I've got a bad back at the moment. So I was kind of hobbling along, and but it's still nice to walk along there, even when you can't see it. But we can now, and you can see the windmills out there in the sea, and I don't think they're ugly at all. Some people think these windmills are ugly. Walked back to the car, then we went to Aldi, and I thought, well, the boy that I keep an eye on in the trawlers catch, he wasn't in. The boy in Aldi will be in. No, he wasn't there either. So I didn't see any of my favourite boys today. Most disappointing. Very disappointed. He's usually there stacking his little shelves, and I quietly come behind him and say, "All right, mate," and he jumps out of his skin like that. We bought a bag of earth in there. Now this is interesting because we bought the bags of earth in the garden centre, 60 litres, and they didn't appear to be particularly heavy. On the other hand, when I emptied them out into the pots yesterday afternoon, they were bone dry. And I think that's why, because we picked up a 40-litre bag in Aldi and I couldn't even carry it. My brother-in-law had to take it to the car because of my back. It was much heavier, and we worked out that's because that had got damp or was a little bit wet inside. Maybe when you buy them from the garden centre, they dry them out somehow or whatever before they put them in the plastic bags. So the 60-litre one was actually lighter than the 40-litre one. But that's just how it is, isn't it? And drove back. We drove back at a very slow pace, to be honest, yesterday. No need to rush at all, you see, when we're out here. No need to rush around. I think I did about 45 miles an hour all the way home. You see these idiots behind it. Honestly, everyone's going so fast all the time. Like, I don't know, 9:30 at night. What have they got to rush for? Rush all the time. Tearing past us sometimes when they overtake. So got back here, dropped my sister and that off, came back here. I think I had a cup of tea, watched a bit of telly. I watched that doctor's thing on the telly. Now, what's that called? There's an army bloke, drop dead good looking army bloke of mixed race, who's had some sort of accident and damaged his back. And he reckons that people on the ward are being killed by someone, either a nurse or a doctor. That programme. It's on BBC One Colour. Can't remember what it's called now, though. Anyone else watching it? Don't know if you're watching it at all. Not sure what that is. And music in the car. Oh, there's a little picture of a car and some music. On the way back, my sister was the DJ. Sister was the DJ. We connected the YouTube to my car with the Bluetooth thing, and we're shouting out tunes to play. My brother-in-law particularly likes the Doolies. You know, wanted all your everything I ever needed. That one. And my favourite Doolies track, which he didn't know actually, Think I'm Gonna Fall in Love with You. Do you know that one? Think I'm gonna fall in love with you. Oh, baby. Think I'm gonna fall in, yes I do. My sister played Top of the World by the Carpenters. I selected Such a Good Feeling. Look that up on YouTube. There's a fantastic live version of that played by a whole orchestra. Such a Good Feeling. If you type in Such a Good Feeling live, you should find it at a Lush concert, Lush, Lush concert, Such a Good Feeling. And I also asked, which I didn't like, and my sister turned it off, He Never Lost His Hardcore by NRG. That's an old trade classic, that is. Trade and FF, a club that I used to go to, which was at Turnmills, which is no longer there in Clerkenwell in the 90s. NRG, He Never Lost His Hardcore. Do you know that one, Chris? I wonder if you knew that. Ah, thank you, Diane. Says it's called Trust Me, Diane. That's right. That's the programme I watched on BBC One Colour iPlayer last night. Trust Me. Very, very good. Any good looking? Did you see him wandering around in his little shorts, Diane? I bet that was doing something for you. LaBelle. Good morning, LaBelle, who said he's cute. Who's cute, LaBelle? Who's cute, the boy in Audi or the one in the Trawler's Catch, or both of them? Roy says, why don't they make you Camp Entertainer on your site, Chris? We don't have anything like that on here. There is no entertainment complex, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want one. You know, I'm so glad that there's none of that here, like a bar or anything. It's just basically a site with caravans, and it's nice and quiet and wonderful. Funnily enough, I was talking to one of my neighbours four doors down, because everyone on my little road here, we're all sort of an age. There's no one. I'm probably actually the youngest one here, to be honest, and I'm 56. Okay, I'm probably the youngest one on the. So there's one, two, three, I think there's 4 or 5 on that side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 5 or 6 on this side of the road, and we're all sort of an age. I was talking to my bloke down here now. I haven't seen for a few months. I said, "Did you have a good winter?" Yeah. He said, We've got a." I said, "Where's your house then?" And I said, "We haven't got a house. We've got a mobile home on the other side of the river." So we've got our caravan site is here. Okay. Then there's a river, and then the other side of the river, there's another caravan site, but there's also a mobile home place. They're different. Mobile homes and caravan sites, different places. Mobile home sites are residential living. This isn't residential, okay? You're not allowed to live here. That's why it's open 10 months of the year. You're not allowed to come. Sorry, incorrect. You can come here on those other 2 months, but you're not allowed to sleep here. Them's the rules. Okay? Mobile homes are 12 months of the year. And I said, oh, right. I said, well, why have you got the caravan as well? He said, well, funnily enough, we were going to sell the caravan. He said, but we like it here so much. And a lot of their friends are here, so they keep both places going. And I said, well, what's the ground rent? And I assumed the ground rent, as other place, would be a lot higher. Now, the ground rent here, I pay here per year £1,400. Which, believe me, for a caravan site is nothing. I've seen some very expensive caravan sites of ground rents of £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 a year. If that was the case here, I wouldn't have bought the caravan. See? Here, it's £1,400, and I asked him what the ground rent was up there, and it was comparable to this side as well. So whether or not it's the area that we're in, I don't know. So he's actually got the 2 places. So he probably pays £3,500 maybe for both. He's got 2 places. He's got a little caravan this side, which is lovely. He keeps it really nice. It's all bells and lights hanging up and lovely garden. It's such a nice couple. They really are. Him and his missus down there. And of course, they got a mobile home which is on the other side of the river, which is a great way. And that got me thinking, you know, why have bricks and mortar? Well, one of the things, unfortunately, on a caravan site, there's not much security. When I say security, I don't mean people breaking in or anything like that. The trouble is, the owners, and talking to the delightful owners of this site, Sylvie and Alan, that's who own the site. And talked to Sylvie, and I said to her some time ago, I said, you know, would he ever sell it? He said, no, he'll never sell this. He will never ever sell this site. But it's a possibility. You know, people change their minds. And they could sell the site, someone could buy the site, and that's it. We're stopping doing caravans. Get all your caravans off the site. And you've had it. As simple as that. In fact, one of my friend's fathers, Ricky is the boy's name, and his dad bought 2 caravans, second-hand ones. I think, was it, or it might be new actually. I don't know. Anyway, he bought 2 caravans on the Isle of Wight, okay, on a specific site, and they've been in the BBC News for this. They hadn't been there a year, and the site was sold. And the next people come along, you've all got to be off by the end of the year. We're redeveloping the site, and that was it. And I think he paid £70,000 for both these caravans. And when that happens, you've got to either move them or sell them to whoever offers the money. Now, on the Isle of Wight, you're a little bit stuck. It's not that easy here, actually, because a lot of sites will only let you put on caravans that you've bought through that site or are a certain age. Okay? So the idea is you lift them up, put them on a trailer and put them on a new site. On the Isle of Wight, that's quite difficult. In fact, it was so difficult they couldn't do it, and he's had to sell that's both £70,000 caravans, total cost, not each. Okay, I think he sold them back for a few £100 to the site. Terrible. So you see, you don't have any security on the caravan site, which is a worry. I don't know about mobile home sites. I would imagine because they're residential, you have certain rights and things. But again, someone could sell it, or even the person who owns it could suddenly decide, well, instead of charging £2,000 per year, we're going to charge £4,000 per year. I don't know if they can do that on a mobile home site, whether they can just whack it up at will, basically. So interesting with that. Michael remembers the Trade nightclub. Oh, it was good there. Tommy used to go there as well. Great place. Great place. Thank you, LaBelle. I'm cute. LaBelle says I'm cute. Oh, you must have something wrong with your computer screen this morning, my dear. Terrible, terrible. So that's caravans for you. Right, let's do a couple of stories here. Now, I can't remember who it was, but we were having a little bit of a tit-a-tate with someone on the show 6 months or so ago about Amazon. Amazon Alexa. Yeah, if you've got an Alexa, she just probably a little blue light has just come on at the top there. But Amazon Alexa, I am convinced it's constantly listening to you. Okay? I don't believe it starts listening until you say Alexa. I think it's constantly listening to you all the time and recording everything. And whoever it was I was talking to at the time swears blind that it doesn't do that. It doesn't know anything until you say its name, Alexa. Well, in the Daily Mail this morning, it says, hot on the heels of Amazon admitting it can listen to private Alexa audio, a new report has been revealed that employees can also access users' home addresses. Now, I won't have one of these in the house. I won't have an Alexa. I like the idea. I like the Alexa, could you play this? I quite like that, but I won't have it because it's listening to me I believe it's listening to you all the time. You could say the same about a smartphone, Siri. You know, hey Siri, you know, when you shout that and your phone bursts into life, assuming that you've got that turned on. But we don't know, do we? How do you know that a phone's on, whether or not the fact that you've pushed a button and says it now says it's off? But you've got to believe that. Got to leave that. Roy, oh, here we are. Roy says, told you if you turn off the mic and use the remote, it don't work till you press the button, and then what have you got to hide? Well, terrible things. I've got terrible things to hide, Roy. You work out some of them yourself. I go out regularly and steal people's cats and eat them, and I bury the bones outside my front caravan. I mean, Amazon can hear me say that. An Amazon team charged with auditing Alexa users' commands can see users' latitude and longitude coordinates, allowing them to easily discover the addresses, Bloomberg reported, citing sources close to the situation. It's the same team uncovered by Bloomberg earlier this month, which is located all over the world and sifts through thousands of recordings, transcribing and analysing them in progress. Now, you understand why they do this, yeah? Everyone's got a different accent. So, depending where you are, I suppose, in the country or indeed the world, what I say that can operate Alexa, you might say it and it won't understand a word you're saying because you've got a different accent to me. So, presumably all these people are employed to listen and correct it somehow. I don't know how they do that. The story in the Mail goes on, after obtaining users' location data, they can enter it into a third-party mapping services such as Google Maps to generate their home address according to Bloomberg. There's no evidence of Amazon employees using the data to track individual users, but the very possibility raises concerns about the company giving its workers too much access to users' data. For example, if an employee auditing a user's Alexa recordings obtains their address, it would be much easier for them to identify the device owner. Amazon previously indicated that the employees are unable to identify the person or account behind the recordings as part of their workflow, and says information is treated with high confidentiality, including multi-factor authentication. And it goes on. So there they say that Amazon admits it can listen to private Alexa audio, and I just don't like it. Don't like it at all, the idea of that. Michael says, thanks Chris for setting off my devices. Roy says Alexa will soon be bored listening to you. Well, you're not, because you're still there. If you were bored, you would have gone. One more story here then. Different places to eat your dinner. This is in this morning's Daily Mirror. Eating on a toilet. Oh yes. The Daily Mirror says, diners looking for an eating experience with a difference need look no more. Europe's first underwater restaurant has recently opened in Norway with a gigantic viewing window from which you can see the ocean while you dine. That sounds nice, doesn't it? The restaurant is called Under. It's in big demand, with already 7,000 people already booked to eat there. But it's not the only unusual restaurant where you can dine in style. Here's one in Shanghai. If you can stomach it, more than toilet. In Shanghai, their theme is, you've guessed it, toilet humour. The dining tables are bathroom sinks topped with glass, and the seats are, of course, toilets. The food is served in toilet-themed receptacles too. Milk is served in urinal-shaped mugs, and chocolate ice cream is dished up in toilet-shaped bowls. Not for the squeamish. Would you go there? A toilet-themed restaurant? Or how about this? This one in Kenya. At Giraffe Manor in Nairobi, Kenya, diners are happy to get close up and personal with the restaurant's friendly resident giraffes. The herd of Rothschild giraffes delight in sticking their heads through the windows into the dining room while guests eat in the hope of being fed some tasty treats. Literally, these giraffe heads come in the window, and they're not dainty. Aren't they beautiful creatures, giraffes? I get so upset when I see these awful videos and pictures of people shooting giraffes. Why would you do that? They don't even hurt people, do they? Horrible, disgusting people who go around hunting animals for sports. Ghastly people. There's another one here. Fancy eating in the dark? It says if you're scared of the dark, then prepare to face your fears at Dans Noir in London. Diners are served a surprise menu completely in the dark by visually impaired servers. The idea is that guests are taken on a complete sensory journey when they have to rely on their other senses and embrace the experience without their sights. They even have to go to the loo in the dark. Well, you wouldn't know what you're eating though, would you, do you? I mean, you might be getting fed sheep's eyes or something like that. Oh no. Don't like the sound of that. Dave, toilet restaurant. What a load of crap. People eat in toilets, don't they? Have you ever seen anyone take food into the toilet with them? Oh, that is rank, that is, isn't it? They sit there with their sandwiches or whatever on their lap and eat them while they're doing toilet things. Awful. Awful. Morning to Joanna. Well, thanks for joining us, Joanna. We've only been here an hour, love. You've missed me singing. How disappointed are you? Morning to Adam the plumber. He's late. Everyone's late this morning, aren't they? And how about this one? Plain Crazy in Bolton. Now, I like the sound of this one. In a quiet corner of Bolton sits a Boeing 737, which houses the restaurant aptly named Steaks on a Plate. The wings have been removed and the plane has been cut in half, but the cockpit is still intact and tables and chairs have replaced the airline seats. The quirky restaurant has been attracting diners across the country since it took off in 2015. So that's not a bad one, is it? Sitting on a plane. Mind you sit on a plane anyway and have a meal, don't you? Usually on plastic plates, depending on where you sit on the plane. How about this one? Chop and Drop in New York. Don't expect a peaceful meal at Ninja in New York. Here, ninjas fly in from all directions while you eat, creeping out of cupboards or jumping out right in front of you as you nip to the puff. I wish someone would jump out in front of me. It's been a long time now. How about Hearty Feed in Las Vegas? And there's a picture there of now, me and my nephew saw this when we were in Vegas in October last year. You know, it's months now since we were in Vegas. I can't believe that. This is called the Heart Attack Grill. And it's obvious when you're walking down the Vegas road, the Vegas Strip, and you can see this. You can go in there and have a meal. The Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas is all about guest participation. Diners known as patients have to dress in hospital gowns before they sit down, which are handed to them by the waitress, who are dressed as nurses. Menus are prescriptions, and they feature burgers which are temptingly called the triple bypass and quadruple bypass. And these burgers are massive. There's a picture of them. So if you want to have a look at that picture of that, this burger is like this. I mean, it's ludicrous. I mean, I have trouble having like a veggie burger with one in it, and it shoots out the front, doesn't it, the burger. This burger's like this with all different meats and things in it. Oh, it's not for me. If you want to look at those pictures, or indeed the other weird stories, have a look in the Daily Mirror. Pull up the Daily Mirror website, and at the top you've got a list of things. Look up weird stories, and it's in there, pictures of that burger there. All right. Weird City, work made me stay. I told them I've got a show to catch, but they don't care. Okay, I'll let you off today, mate. You will be let off today, Weird City citizen, for being late to the show. But not Joanna. Not Joanna, because she's got no excuse. She's very upset missing the singing, aren't you, my love? Good night, LaBelle. Sweet dreams, my dear. Good night, LaBelle. Eating while on the toilet is rank, says Thomas H. It's disgusting, isn't it? Awful. Awful. Adam's watching on the rewind. Okay, let's do today's birthdays. Happy birthday on this Thursday, the 25th of April 2019, to the lovely Christian Villarreal. Christian Villarreal, who's 30 years old today. One of my favourite people who comes in. Doesn't come often now to the karaoke, but it's nice to see him when he does. Happy birthday to you, Christian. Ian Maxted's birthday today. Happy birthday, Ian. Ray Russell today is 50 years old. Good morning, Ray. Happy birthday. Eileen Welland. Eileen Welland is 70 years old today. Good morning, Eileen. Happy birthday. Cindi McMillan today, 29 years old today. Nayfen Kivlihan, 27 today. I worked with Nayfen at Belush's in Camden Town a few years ago now. It was a really, really nice person he is. Happy birthday to you, Nayfen. Paul Duncan's birthday today. Good morning, Paul. Happy birthday. Jonathan Bloomfield today is 45 years old. Alan Davey. He did some mobile DJing. I don't know if he's still doing that. Used to come into Belush's in Hammersmith. Happy birthday to you, Alan. Danny Joe Stephen today is 37 years old today. That's a good age. Late 30s, mid to late 30s are a good age. And Roger Devonport today is 61 years old. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, boys and girls. All right, have a nice day. I'm going to go and take my pills now. Oh, isn't it late? How long have I been here today then? A bit longer than I thought I was going to be. I'm going to take my pills, have a cup of tea, and then go to the swimming pool and maybe pop into B&Q. I'll put some stuff. I'll put some more of Maureen's magic cream on my... It sounds rude, that. Maureen's magic gel on my back. I'll probably leave that till after the swimming, actually, because it'll just get washed off in the pool, and people will be swallowing the cream that's been on my back as it's swimming around. Have a lovely day, boys and girls, and hopefully I'll see you again at some point tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.